back. You're in the kitchen with Chef ChefCarlaAndrea, and tonight I'll be showing you guys my homemade lasagna. I love lasagna. I love lasagna for many reasons. It's a one-pot pan dish. It's quick. It's simple. It's not really quick, but it's quick to assemble, and then it takes a little bit of time to bake. But I think it's well worth the reward. I also like it because it's bold. It has bright, big flavors. This is something that you can really showcase your taste buds, your cooking abilities, because you get your sauce the time to simmer, to come together, and to have one big party in a pan and then eventually in your mouth. But the first thing we have to do is we have to build this wonderful sauce that we're going to make. I love this sauce. It took me a little bit of time to figure out how this sauce works and what ways to make it work for me. So now I figured it out and I'm giving it to you. Let me give you a rundown of the ingredients and then we'll go through all the steps together. I have something that's called a mirepoix. It is not a mirepoix exactly, because a mirepoix is onions, celery, and carrots, but I forgot my carrots. I'm gonna get some carrots in a second. But this is kind of like a souped up mirepoix with like a little holy trinity mixed together. It is bell peppers, I got onions, I have shallots, I have the celery, and I have garlic. But what I decided to do with my garlic, I decided to roast it because I'm big on garlic and roasting it when I have the time or I remember. I love to roast it. It brings in a whole nother depth of flavor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these things started, then I'm going to skedaddle over, get some carrots, and then get them going. So basically what you want to do with this is you just want to rough chop everything, because we're going to eventually blend it all together in the blender. So I'm not really worried about how it looks or the chopping on this. This is just my time to move fast, get everything in the cutting board. And from the cutting board to the pan. Look at me, I'm talking fast, moving fast. I'm doing everything fast right now. So I already have a pan that's hot. I take some olive oil. I throw it in there. About a tablespoon will be plenty enough. You just want it so that way the vegetables don't burn. You can get it moving. I rough chopped everything. Let me move this out the way so you guys can see. So this is the bell peppers that I have for the recipe that I'm going to throw in there. I like to use a red. I like to use a green. It doesn't really matter. I like to use whatever is on sale. So it just so happened that red and green were on sale. So that's that. Now remember, like I said, we're not going to do any dicing and julienne, anything. It's just all rough chop because we really want to get some flavor, some color on the vegetables to build the flavor. But I'm going to quarter halves of the onions so that way they brown a little better, because you know onions they're big. There's a lot of layers to an onion. So I'm going to throw that in. So I'm going to throw in my shallots. I'm going to quarter those again. I got a medium-sized shallot to start with. Then I've got some celery. I got 3 stalks that I'm just going to go ahead and just rough chop and throw in there. Now that all that's in there, I'm going to hurry up and grab my carrots. I like to use 2 carrots in this recipe because each vegetable adds something to the dish. It adds a layer of flavor. The celery, it's a root vegetable, so it adds a nice earthiness. You have your onion. Everyone loves an onion. I haven't met a person yet who doesn't like the aroma, the flavor of an onion. Carrots add a little bit of sweetness, and it helps out with the acidity of all the tomatoes that we're putting in the dish. Let's see what else we got in there. We got bell peppers. Those are all aromatics right along with the onion and the garlic that we're putting in there. And that's about it. That's going in there right now. All that is just going to brown for a few minutes and do its thing and get all nice and soft and nice in color. So let me hurry up and get these carrots in here. I'm going to cut off the ends of the carrots because we don't need those. That's where they, started from and kind of got a little dirt on them. So I'm going to throw those in. Got those going on. I'm going to add just a hair bit of my seasoning. In my seasoning, it's just Italian spice that I made myself. It's some oregano, I got some parsley, basil. What else is in here? Thyme. I have some onion powder, garlic powder. I always like to add those in because onion and garlic powder, it's just like it's a nice concentrate of flour, so I like to have that in there. I got some pepper, some salt. I did 2 tablespoons of everything, but the salt and pepper was just 1 tablespoon. So I'm just going to add a little bit in here because we're going to use the rest to flavor the meat that we're going to cook, to flavor the tomatoes. So we just want a little bit. Then I'm going to go ahead and add in the tomato paste. This is a heaping tablespoon of tomato paste that I'm going to add in here because I just want the tomato paste to give it some flavor, some color. I want that to start breaking down. So I'm going to let this cook for a few minutes and then I'll see you guys back. I'm going to clean up and I'm going to get everything ready for the next step. What's up? So now I'm going to show you guys how to do the ricotta filling. I like to do this intermingling while I'm doing my sauce because I like the ricotta filling to really build a little bit of flavor. So what I'm going to do is I have some Italian parsley. I'm going to just chop this up, get a little bit. I'm going to use about, I'll say, a half a cup of the Italian parsley. I'm going to get a nice little dice on it. I like to add this to the ricotta just to brighten it up a little bit, give it a little color, make it look fascinating when you go to spread it on. And it also just gives them another flavor while they're eating your wonderfully made lasagna that you're going to be doing. And I know typically a lot of recipes say, oh, just, you know, spread a little ricotta, maybe mix a couple tablespoons of milk in it. But you want to make sure that every layer is full of flavor. There's not a single layer that you want to not have seasoned or flavor because it'll show. When you go to eat it, you'll be like, oh, it's missing something. It's missing some salt. It's missing some pepper. It's missing some basil. And you don't want that. I mean, I know things aren't perfect, but you want to make it as good as possible the first time around. So you always season your layers. So we got some parsley Italian. You can use flat leaf if you don't have it on hand at home. So we're going to throw this in here. I have 1/4 cup of milk, but I'm not going to use it all. I'm going to test it out, mix it around first, see if I need it all. I may not. I just use the milk so that way I can soften it up, work it around a little bit, get it to move in so it's not so stiff because I really want the ricotta to be nicely mixed so that way I can let it sit in the fridge for a few more minutes while everything is getting together. But you also, you know, you want to give the flavors some time to marry and come together because there's no point in putting all this hard work and seasoning on stuff if you don't give it the ample time to do its thing. So that's perfect. So now I'm going to take just a little bit of this seasoning that I have. And this seasoning, I did so much of it so that way it can go throughout the whole dish. So I can use it in different components of the things that I'm cooking. I'm going to take a little bit of the garlic, not too much. That's perfect enough because I'm going to use the rest for my sauce. But I want to add just a little bit in the ricotta. I don't know if I told you guys or if you've seen, roasted garlic is very sticky. It's like glue almost. So it sticks to your fingers and it can be a nightmare sometimes, but it's good. So you must always use it when you can, especially when working with Italian food because it's nothing but a bunch of flavor going on there. So I got some smeared roasted garlic that I'm going to do and put in here. I'm going to mix this around, get this all nicely incorporated so that way it can sit, come together, and I can start smelling the flavors. So now we have one layer that is finished. We're working on our sauce. The vegetables are almost ready. I have my crushed canned tomatoes that I'll talk about in a minute. I got my beef that's ready, seasoning. I got basil. So I'm rocking and rolling. I'll see you guys back in a few minutes when it's time to finish up this wonderful sauce. I got a little intermission. So what I like to do in my downtime is make me a drink. I figured this was a good drink and a fun drink to share with you guys for a brunch at home, a Sunday morning, Saturday morning. You take some beer, you chill the little mug glass, the mug glass, I guess that's right, the mug glass. I like to basically fill the beer up majority of the way. Then you take you some OJ, you mix it together, and I like to freeze this too as well so it's nice and cold. And you have a beer mosa for people that don't like champagne or aren't into mimosas or find them too girly. Anyone that knows me, I'm an avid beer drinker. I love beer. So this is another way that I sneak beer into my diet. I'm going to enjoy this, and I'll be back again in a few minutes because my vegetables are almost ready, and we'll finish up this wonderful sauce. Now it's time to finish the sauce. I'm going to take my nicely caramelized vegetables and I'm going to throw them into the blender because, like I said, we were going to blend this up, so that's why I didn't take the time to do these nice knife cuts. I just wanted to get it in the pan, get them soft, get some color on them. Now that I've achieved that, I'm going to blend it all up and get it going. So I'm going to put it in the blender. I'm just going to take like a spoonful, maybe 2 spoonfuls of sauce, because I just want something just to loosen up the vegetables, to get it blended up for me. So now I got my 2 spoonfuls of sauce. By the way, we use 2 cans of 28 ounces for our recipe. So 1 second here. We're going to blend this if I can get it to work. Maybe. Okay, I think no, maybe not. Let me check some balance system. Oh man. Let's see. Oh no. Okay, hold on. So, oh, I had it on the wrong way. Maybe I shouldn't drink and cook. About 2-3 minutes, depending on the speed of your blender. Can you hear me? Because I can't hear myself, but I hope you can hear me. It's still blending. It's almost ready. This one's kind of powerful. We're almost ready. I see it. Not yet. Almost. Wait 1 minute. Okay. Almost. We're almost there. Be patient. Okay. We're there. So now that we're there, we're going to add just a little bit more oil to the pan. Just a little bit. Not too much. Dump the meat right in because the pan's already nice and hot. I'm going to get this out the way. I'm going to take my spoon. I'm just going to mush around my meat. So now I'm going to let my meat brown completely before I start building the sauce in this pan. Get some brown meat going. Some ground beef. I use 2 pounds of ground chuck. You can use whatever ground beef you like. This recipe here calls for 2 pounds. So I like to make sure everybody gets a bite of beef in their lasagna. So we got 2 pounds. It's a little shy, over 2 pounds. Like one package was like 1.18 pounds. So, I mean, but just get 2 packages and you'll be good to go. I'm going to add just a wee bit of seasoning in here. Just a little bit. And remember, don't rinse your pan out, but don't burn it. Don't rinse it out because you still get all the good flavors and the bits from all the vegetables that are inside of the pan. So don't rinse it. Don't wash it. That's why we did our vegetables first, meat last. So that way all the meat cooks and it gets to the proper temperature and consistency, then we can add everything back in there. So remember, do not wash the flavor off the pan. So I'll see you guys back in a few minutes when my meat has perfectly browned. Just brown. Don't cook it too fast because it'll tighten up and you want your meat to be relaxed and loose. So give it about 15 minutes in the pan on about low medium and you're good to go. You don't want to rush your lasagna. I'll see you back in a few minutes. So now we're going to add our secret vegetable blend to the meat. Now remember, the vegetable blend, it was nothing more than 2 spoonfuls of crushed tomatoes, celery, onions. What else was in there? Celery, onions, shallots, bell peppers, and carrots. So we got all that blended up. And we're going to throw it in here. I wish you guys can smell this. Like, this smells very, very delightful. I just want to eat this by itself. Give me some bread. I don't know, something. I'm going to get rid of this. We're going to mix this all together. If I had one wish, I'd give you guys all smell-o-vision. So you can smell Maybe I'll give you smell-able. See, I know if I had one wish, I'd ask for another wish, give you smell-ing vision, then I'll give you 3D. So that way it will be there with you physically. So all this is mixed up. Mix, 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 mix. Oh, I'm making a mess. We're going to add in our rest of our 2 cans of 28 ounces of crushed tomatoes. I like to use crushed tomatoes versus any other tomato because it's already there. It's ready to go. You don't have to do anything but open up the cans and just throw them in there. So we're going to get this out the way. I'm going to take our sugar. It's about a teaspoon and a sprinkle of just regular granulated sugar. We're going to mix this up thoroughly. Now the reason why I add the sugar in because it cuts some of the acidity, some of that heavy tomatoey flavor that just may leave that that bite. Have you ever had like a spaghetti sauce and you have that bite right in the back corner of your tongue and you're trying to figure out what is that? It's like the acid from the tomato. So we're going to cut it because we don't need that bite. We don't need it. It's not wanted. So we're going to spin it, stir it, mix it all together. It's all together. We're going to season it some more. We're not going to use all the seasoning because we want to taste as we go, you know. Because remember, we've seasoned every single layer. The vegetables got seasoned. Then this is getting seasoned. The ricotta mix is getting seasoned. So we're going to spin this around, stir it up just a little bit more. And we're going to taste it. I'll eat it just like this. I don't need anything. I'm going to do a little more seasoning. So we probably used about 2.5, 3 tablespoons of seasoning in the meat. We're going to let this cook. Let it cook for about, I'll say an hour. Give it the opportunity to boil, simmer, allow everything to come together. Make sure you keep it on low because it will burn because there are some sugars in the pan from the vegetables. So you don't want it to be a burned mess because when tomato sauce burns, you get it throughout every bite you eat if you try to eat it. So you don't want that. Keep it on low. We're going to stir it. We're going to keep our eye on it. We're going to add in our wonderful basil at the end. And I'm going to squeeze in the rest of this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful garlic that I've roasted. And I'll see you guys when it's time to assemble our wonderful lasagna and chop up our basil. I'm going to get this garlic off my fingers and I'll see you guys shortly. Now the sauce is done. I have everything together so that we can assemble this wonderful lasagna. Please make sure that while your sauce is cooking that you have your oven preset to 375 so that way as soon as you're done you can go ahead and put your lasagna in. Let me grab my cheeses. I kept my cheeses in the fridge because I don't want them to melt, get soft, or anything like that. So give me 1 second. Alright, now I got my cheese and I'm going to open up my Italian blend. It's Italian 4 cheese. It's Asiago, Fontina, Parmesan, and Provolone. You can get this at your local grocery store. You can find it. I love this blend. It's got some nice salt. It's got some good flavor. I'm going to turn it up another notch and I'm just going to add a little bit of cheese inside the ricotta cheese. Give it just an extra depth of flavor. Make a little mess while I'm doing it because I have the wrong spoon. Trying to stir in some stuff inside of stuff. Okay, so now we're ready. Now we're going to take our basil so you guys can see me. And we're just going to just do some nice little julienne slices of basil. Remember I said you don't want to add your basil in the very beginning because you want to not overcook it and then it gets all brown and soggy and mushy. So we're just going to do this last minute. Whenever you're working with basil and it's going into like a hot dish, like a soup, a marinara, meat sauce, anything like that, you just want to go ahead and just add it last minute. You can wash it, let it air dry, and then you chop it up right when you need it, and then you throw it on in there, and you get that nice, wonderful basil flavor that you've been looking for. So I'm going to take the lid off. Put it over here to the side and I'm going to throw in my wonderful basil I wish you guys were here to smell this. This basil smells absolutely divine. So I got enough in here. I can smell it. It's blending in nicely. So the first thing you want to do is when you're making lasagna, it's in layers. If you guys don't know that, starts off with a sauce layer, then noodles, then some sauce, and then you put some ricotta cheese filling. Then you sprinkle some cheese in there, and you just do that until you run out of room. So I'm going to go ahead and start assembling my wonderful lasagna. Get this stuff all out the way a little bit. I like these noodles because they have the look of being homemade, and it doesn't look like your traditional noodle, and I think it holds up just a little bit better. So I'm going to start assembling this lasagna. You just do just enough sauce until it covers the bottom. You don't want to over sauce it or too much sauce. Just a nice amount, about 3 ladlefuls, until you get some sauce on the bottom, because that's going to help the noodles not to stick, and when you go to cut your lasagna, it's going to help it come out. And then you just want to lay down some lasagna sheets. Now it's okay, you can push them down a little bit. They may pop back at you, but it's perfectly fine because it's a lasagna. Eesh. I know it, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to taste good and look nice. You want it to make it fit. So we're going to throw some more meat sauce over here and just spread it out. Now you don't want to do too much because you still want to see each layer. So you just do a nice fair amount on each layer. Just until the lasagna noodle is covered. Don't worry about making a mess, because you can always just wipe it up. I'm going to get some ricotta cheese filling, and I just do little dollops, spoonfuls throughout it. And then I just take my knife and I spread it around like, my spoon, and I spread it around like so. Not to blend it in too much to the meat sauce. Then I'm going to take some cheese. This is just fresh shredded mozzarella cheese that I did earlier to build some of that upper body strength. Just going to put a nice little layer. Then I'm just going to take just a little bit of this cheese. And then you're just going to keep layering in until you got it all figured out. Very easy. So I'm going to finish layering my lasagna, and then I'll show you guys when it's time to put in the oven how she looks. I'll see you back in a few minutes. The lasagna has been completely assembled. Now it's ready to be wrapped with foil and thrown in the oven. You're going to wrap it with foil for the first about 20-25 minutes, just until everything starts getting all warm and bubbly. And then once that happens, you're going to take the foil off and let it cook in the oven for 15 minutes, just until the cheese gets nice and brown and ooey and gooey. And then you're going to let it sit for another 15 minutes, so that way everything comes together. Because if you try to cut into it right away, what's going to happen is your lasagna is going to fall apart. It's going to become mushy, and it's just not going to be the pretty looking lasagna that you would like to have. So I'm going to throw this in the oven, and I'll see you guys back in about 35-40 minutes so we can bite into this wonderful lasagna. Finally finished. Now it's time for me to do my favorite part. It's taste it. I'm going to cut a nice, okay, maybe not so big. Now I'm going to cut a nice size slice out of it, because I want to know how good my lasagna tastes. I mean, I know it's good, but I want you guys to see how good my lasagna is. I like the corner pieces, because the corner pieces are nice and crispy, and it's exciting. See if I can get this out. Oh man, I'm making a mess. See if I can get this out in one piece. I probably can't. It's still piping hot. Okay, let me taste it. I hope I don't burn my mouth. I don't know if you guys can see all this ooey gooiness. Lasagnas aren't pretty. They're very messy, but they're really good. This lasagna has a lot of flavor. Perfectly baked. Cheesy. I got plenty of meat. This is some good lasagna. You guys are going to enjoy this recipe. I wish I could reach out and give my plate to each and every one of you, but I can't. So I'll eat it. Thank you for watching the video. I want you guys to please subscribe to my channel for more great recipes, and I'll see you guys next time back in my kitchen.